Our today topic is selective reabsorption. Selective reabsorption means only selective things will be reabsorbed. As we already studied in the structure of the nephron that the glomerulus filter the material, and this material is called as glomerular filtrate, and it will be passed from the proximal convoluted tubule. When this glomerular filtrate will be passing this filtrate material, this waste material, when passing from the proximal convoluted tubule, it will be reabsorbed. Why it will be reabsorbed? Why it will be reabsorbed? Because if you look over it, you will see that the capillaries are surrounding the tubules. All the capillaries are surrounding all the tubules, like the proximal, distal, and this is descending, ascending. All the loops will be surrounded by these capillaries. So the things which was required to the body is also filtered down. It needs to be reabsorbed and give it back to the body. Now they will be reabsorbed. Selective material will be reabsorbed. How this selective material will be reabsorbed? The question is this. So look at the diagram. When you see the diagram, how the proximal tube is so close to the capillary. Proximal tube is so close to the capillary. Like this one structure, you can see that there is an empty space inside the tube, like your home tube, water pipe. You can see the water pipe which is hollow inside, empty inside, and surrounded by a wall. Similarly, it is hollow inside, surrounded by a wall. So this hollow place contains the waste material, glomerular filtrate. Now from this hollow side, look at this. This hollow side is this central material is this hollow side. This hollow side contains the material which is required to the blood capillaries. To reach it to the blood capillaries, there is a wall between them. Now this wall of both, wall of proximal and the wall of capillaries. This is the wall which is the hurdle between these two. How they cross this? There are proximal convoluted tubule. The wall of the proximal convoluted tubule is made up of cuboidal cells. Cuboidal cells are cube shaped, and look at this, they ends on a microvilli. So from the loop, from the hollow structure where the material will becomes, this finger-like structure will help like absorbing the material. It will absorb it and it pass it to the basement membrane of the cell. This is the cell. It pass to the basement membrane of the cell, absorb the material and pass it to the cell basement membrane. The cell basement membrane, as you can see, I lined with the black color, is in continuation with the blood vessel. It is in continuation with the blood vessels, your blood capillaries. So, this proximal convoluted tubule basal membrane is pass its material into the blood. The passageway is done by means of co-transporter proteins which are present in the basement membrane. It is done by sodium-potassium pump which is present in the basement membrane of the cell. So the material will be reabsorbed, not all the material, selective material will be reabsorbed from the hollow tube into the capillaries. If you look at this diagram, you will see, I will revise the same topic. There is a hollow tube inside, and then proximal, we are discussing about the proximal portion. So that proximal side, there are cells are present which are called as cuboidal cells, which ends on a villi, which ends on a microvilli. These microvilli help in the absorption of material from this central hollow tube. The material which is coming from this region, this microvilli, this brush-like structure help to absorb the material. Once this absorb the material, it is passed to the wall of the cell. These cells, these are the cells. Look, this brush-like material absorb the material. This brush-like absorb the material. Pass it to the cuboidal cells which are present in the wall of the proxy. Then into the basal membrane, and then this basement membrane is in continuation with the blood capillaries. You can see this hollow tube, like when I cut the water pipe, it will be like this, is surrounded by a hole, which is central hole is empty. So central hole is empty and the wall of the tube is made up of cuboidal cells. One of the cuboidal cell I discussed over here. That you take the cuboidal cell which having villi are present, reabsorb the material, pass it to the basement membrane of the cell. From the basal membrane, it is now continuation with the blood capillaries. One of the diagram for more clear view, I gave it to you. And these sodium potassium pumps are present in the basal membrane, which pass the sodium from the lumen, because it comes in this glomerular filtrate. Na? Sodium ions, urea, vitamins, all are present in this lumen. It will be absorbed into the wall of the cell. And this sodium is passed by means of sodium potassium pump, and sodium will see the glucose in the center. It will take it with itself into the basal channels. Most of the material, do remember this, most of the material are passed. Sodium passed to passive way. Glucose is also take it with itself. Glucose is at higher concentration. It passes to the blood capillaries too. Removal of solute. As a result, what will be happens when the solute will be removed from the proximal convoluted tubule? Water level will be increased, because solute is moving into the blood capillaries, and the blood capillaries containing that solute, so their water potential will be decreased. So cell surface membrane is slightly permeable for the urea, but urea passes from it and reaches to the blood capillaries. As a result, many of the solute, it means much number of solute is released from this area and moving to this side. Energy is required, which cells contains mitochondria. Cell is, organelles are present, and these mitochondria give energy. As a result, when the cell gains the energy, it will move and it will working and transferring the material from this region to this region. Adult human, if you look at the adult human, is containing 125 centimeter cube of filter per minute is moving into the proximal convoluted tubule. 125 centimeter cube of filtrate is passing per minute into the proximal convoluted tubule, but not all passing to the loop of Henle. Only 64% is passing to the loop of Henle. So this is the today's, as it means selective, so it means that selective will be reabsorbed. This is the today topic. Hope so you like it. If you like, please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.